This is gonna be good. What's up, YouTube fam? It is Clint Lund with London Mix. You guys, you like that karate? I am really stoked to be bringing this video today because this is actually one of those topics that just come up in my Instagram all the time at London Mix. And you could absolutely, it takes me time, guys. I'm one person. I don't have a media group with me all the time going through my DMs. I have 99 plus requests. That's all it shows in the request thing. Plus all my general box and primary box. I'm trying. Work with me. I'm trying, okay? But anyways, I get a lot of questions all the time about what is the best bike to buy? I'm like, well, that's subjective, you know? But a lot of what it is for the topic is like for X amount of money. So like for $3,000, what can I buy? Which, let's be honest, for $3,000 these days, you can't really buy much. This stupid COVID pricing on things. It's ridiculous. I don't know what some people are thinking. I have a lot of bikes. There's more over there. And some of the prices, like, I'm just like, bro, your bike is not worth $4,500 for your 2007 KX450. It's just not. I'm sorry. But everyone still is trying to capitalize on these prices. So I can't really say for $3,000. I can't say for $4,000 just because bikes are just not. We need this whole inflation thing just come back down. This is stupid. So let's rewind. Either way. So today, guys, we're going to be talking about the best bikes you guys can invest your money into. So I am not going to be talking brand new dirt bikes because you know what? I feel like there's plenty of publications out there that talk about the constant 250, 450 shootouts, and they cover it stem to stern like perfectly. I can't give anything even close to what they would give about brand new bikes. Mostly because I don't ride them. I ride old piles of junk that I fix up to better than brand new. And then we pound the crap out of them, do it again, over and over and over again until, I don't know, until we get bored of them. We really don't get bored of bikes here. We just kind of throw them in the stable. And either way, so let's just dive right into this, guys. Let's start with a list of 5 bikes I think you guys should really look at if you're in this Broke to Built contest, which ended the other day. So I hope all your submissions are in to the Broke to Built contest, guys. Your boy is one of the judges in it, along with a lot of powerful guys in the industry that just know their stuff. They're very brilliant with working on bikes, and I'm stoked to be alongside some of these guys and judging your potential Broke to Built contest bikes. So let's talk about this, right? So let's talk about what you need to look at. We'll cover 2-stroke and 4-stroke today, and this is just a top 5 of my personal picks for bikes that you should be looking for if you want to do a flip and turn it into either a Broke to Built winner or something that just would be worth your money. And there's a lot of great bikes out there, so if you don't hear your bike in this list that I'm going to be saying right now, do not feel like I'm trashing your bike. I'm just saying simply that these bikes that I've chosen for this are definitely those that deserve a little bit more mention because maybe part availability, which will play a large role into our picks of the top 5 here. Like I said, guys, these are just my own after dozens of years of working on bikes. This is kind of my compiled list. I've worked on everything. So if I did not include your bike, again, don't be offended, but we will be having several of these parts coming out very soon. We're going to do worst bikes, but we're going to do your top 10 worst bikes. And then we'll also dive into dual sports as well as kids bikes. So we'll dive into 85, 125, 65, and 50. We'll cover all those sizes in one video. So but today, not talking dual sport, not talking anything like that. We're just talking dirt bike. So it came with an 18-inch or a 19-inch rear wheel, just not 125. So that being said, guys, my number one absolute pick for a bike you should find, invest, and rebuild is the 2006 and up CR450R. Now, when I say and up, realize this. I'm talking 06-07 was a very good year. It was a turning point for Honda. They had figured out their situation with their valve train, which was a very troublesome valve train, to say the least. They used soft metals and hard metals together, and what ended up happening was everyone just ended up getting very severe air leaks into their combustion chamber, which led to a very improper running bike, which actually led a lot of people to think they had a carburetor issue. They would buy carburetor rebuild kits, they would buy all these things because the bike's backfiring, and they just didn't know that the valves were just junk. So in 2006, Honda came out with a slight redesign and also introduced a really, really good bike, that being the 2006 CR450, and that's where we're topping off this list at number 1. Guys, so 06, 07, 08, those are the last years of the carbureted bikes. And so why I'm saying this as opposed to an 09, 10, 11, 12 is because the 9, 10, 11, 12s were fantastic bikes, just as reliable, but I did find that there was fuel pump issues. It was really early on, so we had issues with the capacitor. We had problems with the fuel injectors clogging, fuel pumps going out. Carburetors, it's hard to beat. It's a very simplistic method that's been used forever in anything involving a motorcycle or a motor. So that is my number 1. Reasons why. Let's talk about reasons why. My favorite is Showa suspension. It absolutely had, I think it was a 37 millimeter Showa. Walk that back, 47 millimeter Showa. They played around with 46, 47 for a while. And that 47 millimeter Showa shock and fork combo was fantastic. You could send them to any of your favorite suspension shops, mine being AHM, and that is actually his favorite suspension as well. You could talk to Brandon at AHM and he will tell you, like, yeah, that 47 millimeter Showa is an awesome shock, and it's an awesome fork combo for Honda. I keep saying shock. There was no 47 millimeter shock. You guys know what I'm saying. It was the suspension combo powered with, they figured out their Unicam engine. They put a good combination of valve and seat inside the head. And these engines were known to get 300 hours out of a bottom end. Some of you out there might be, dude, I had one go out at 60 hours. It has everything to do with how you owned it, how you rode it, if you're a rever, if you were, putting it up and down trails. But either way, guys, Honda, the 06 to 08 is my pick for number 1 of bikes that you should take a look at if you're going to be flipping, restoring, doing a broke to build type idea. So number 1, Honda. Guys, number 2. Now this one took me a little bit of time because for me, the Honda stood out the most, but 2 and 3, they're really, really close. And I think I'm just going to have to say it, give it up to the good old Yz250, guys. So from years 99 up, that's kind of why I picked this one for number 1, or for number 2. It's because that year range, 99 to 2022, are just fantastic bikes. You can find them all over a different price range. Why I'm saying 99 and not 98 is because in 99 they got that power valve revision. They did a lot of changes internally to the motor, which Yamaha said, you know what, this is the absolute best motor we can ever come out with, and we're just going to put in every year, which it really did. So since 99 up to 21 was the same engine, minor differences in porting revisions, and but other than that, guys, it really comes down to it was an awesome bike. If you find one 06 and up, you're going to get powered with that wonderful KYB Triple S suspension. I love to put on all my bikes because it's just such good suspension. It can be made to feel like works suspension so easily. And then obviously if you could get above 19, you could get the true 49 millimeter Triple S, which is darn near A kit. They say A kit type in the ads, which I think is funny, but it still isn't A kit. It's just A kit type, meaning it's 49 millimeter, just like the A kit stuff. But there is also 50 millimeter A kit. So either way, guys, point being, extremely easy to get parts for. You could get YZ250 parts off of any website. My favorite being Rocky Mountain ATV MC. Link down right down there in the description. You see it under the like button. And under the other, it's right there's a link. That link supports my channel. Use that link, guys. And shop around, go buy all the parts for your bike. It doesn't add any price. It doesn't add any money to your shopping cart. All it does is it gives the channel a little kickback from Rocky Mountain, who's been a several year sponsor of this this program here, guys. But you can find those Yamaha parts anywhere, including Rocky Mountain. So we're talking, you know, hard to find internal engine parts, cylinders, cables, bearings, wheels, you name it. You can find it. They're awesome bikes, super easy to work on. Parts everywhere. Like I said, Yamaha YZ250, you did me good on the channel with the worst bike on Craigslist. It's an 01 YZ325 now. That's just been awesome. It's been a great bike. So that's your number 2, guys, the YZ250. Let's move on to number 3. So we got, this one was so close to the YZ250 because of popularity. And because of what it truly was, and that being, guys, the 2001 CR250 two-stroke. So we got now 2 Hondas in here, guys, but Honda's been doing it right for a long time on certain models. And one that they just killed it on was that 2000 and 2001. It might even been, was it 99 also? I don't think so. I think it was only a 2-year gig, because in 02 they went to the RC valve, I believe. And then 99, I believe, was still the same good-ass motor, but the frame and forks and the geometry was wacky for like that 97, 98, and I believe 99 era. Either way, so the 2000, 2001. So this bike, guys, was Jeremy McGrath and Ryan Villopoto, or not Ryan Villopoto, the other redhead. That's right, Ricky Carmichael, guys. This was their favorite bike. Obviously, this one I think was like second to McGrath's favorite, was like the 92 or 93 CR250. I can't remember which one it was. So much so that McGrath ran the same chassis from that 92 or 93 CR250 even into 94, 95, 96. He kept running that older chassis because he liked how it felt, but with a newer motor. But that engine that was in that 92 to 2000, 2001, excuse me, CR250 is a phenomenal power plant. It lasts forever, gobs heaps of power, extremely easy to work on. You could still find parts for it for now. So then the chassis, that frame that they had developed that year with that combination of the suspension was fantastic, guys. I highly recommend that 2000, 2001 CR250. You could find one. They're typically jacked up pretty high on price. People these days, they kind of know what they have, and it sucks. But if you could find one for a good deal, or one that's blown up, guys, you could send the cylinder out to Millennium Technologies. They can fix that. Cranks are available, bearings are available through Wrench Rabbit, through Yz250, or whoever you guys prefer, or even OEM, right? You could send them down to Crankworks. And Crankworks will rebuild it, balance it, atomize the crank. They do a good job with aftermarket cranks and making them better. So if like you have, say like a Yz250 complete crankshaft assembly, okay? You could send that as is with a piston that you plan on running down to Crankworks, and they will balance it. They will do an atomizing treatment on the rod. And guys, you can make those things as good as OEM. You really can. A lot of you will disagree, but that's fine, because I'm the one that has run hundreds of hours through lots of different bikes, and please just trust me, it works good. Done it on a lot of bikes, and they're still in service today. So guys, that's your number 3. Your number 4, I wanted to really give some diversity and give some other bikes a chance. And we've already covered 2 2-strokes and 1 4-stroke. So that brings us to number 4, guys. Let's talk about YZ450. So YZ450s had a little bit of a rough go in the beginning. So your 03, 04, 05, what do I say about them? The 5-valve titanium heads were not the best. They kind of piggybacked an idea from the car racing industry, which was You know how you use bigger valves, and then you can get more intake from your fuel and air, and you could also get more exhaust out with a bigger valve. So instead they went with the race car theory, which is, you know, more valves per cylinder, which will move more volume but with less drag on the cams, which equal to a bike that revved out amazingly, had great power, and you know, they did last pretty dang long. Where they suffered was the cranks they couldn't take the heat for long periods of time. And then also to the middle valve on the intake, so there's 3 valves on the intake, the middle valve for some reason always seemed to move when that head got hot, which would equal some catastrophic failures. So that is not the kind of YZ450 I'm talking about. We're talking about when they flipped that engine around and they stuck it in a bike in 2014. So that 10 through 13, I feel like those were the 2010 through 2013 YZ450s. They were kind of a very interesting year where Yamaha was still trying to figure out how to get the geometry to dial in with that rearward facing engine. And yeah, James Stewart had a lot of problems with that bike. But in 2014, they came out with a monster. I mean, this thing had gobs and gobs of power. Travis Preston, who was one of the testers for Yamaha, actually had a bike with racing hours that went well over 150 hours on an OEM bottom end. So, I mean, and if you guys know who Travis Preston is, ex-Supercross hero, I mean, he was super fast and a tester for Yamaha. This guy rips. He's won World Vet Nationals. He's won Mammoth. He's a good-ass rider. Anyway, so Travis Preston, he stacked up a bunch of hours on this bike. I met him at Zaka Station. Zaka Station's closed now, thanks California. And he was ripping that 14 around this track, and I couldn't believe it when he told me how many hours were on that thing. So that 14, 15, 16, yes, you could still find those for a decent deal. The fuel pumps last, there was one issue that we found with, it was kind of an anomaly where the, I forget if it was the map sensor or the throttle position sensor went out, and the bike would just not rev out. So it would start fine, but as soon as you start to give it throttle, it just backfire pop. And we chased it with like a fuel pump, a new fuel injector. It didn't do anything. And then finally, that's when we found out about the map sensor issue. Also the throttle position sensor. So, but aside from that, for a kickstart bike, it was absolutely fantastic. Obviously, if you get newer than that, more power to you. But if we're talking affordable bikes, that 14 YZ450 sure is a great freaking pick. There's your number 4, guys. The 2014 to 16 YZ450 from Yamaha. Guys, moving on to our final bike, the number 5. This one took me a long time, and as a matter of fact, to be very honest with you, in my head, I'm still kind of battling with 5 and 6. We might do an honorable mention here. And the reason being is there's a lot of great bikes, and I really don't want to hurt any feelings out there because there is so many great bikes out there. There's, we got to. So your number 5, guys, is going to be that really, really awesome period when KTM came into the States and they said, you know what? We want to race too. We want to party. So they had this bike in 2007. It was a 300 EXC, and then I think they had the 300 XCW, 2-stroke. You could find these things. So even with COVID pricing, I've been able to find them in the low 3s. You could probably talk dude down into his senses, into his moral senses, and say, bro, this bike is made back in 2007. But I think that the 2007, 2008, 2009, I believe, is the period that you look for there. 2006, try. You can. They are good bikes in the engine department, but the rest of it is not. But the 2007 is when they really got better. Suspension was still decent. The part availability is still there. The newer KTM stuff, for some reason, is gold-plated in some way that we can't visually see, but KTM treats it with this gold plating that exists, but none of us have found yet, where the prices are just astronomical. But for some reason, that 07, 08, 09 period, you can still find affordable piston kits. You can find affordable cranks. all the engine bearings. You can find plastics, graphics, seats, seat covers. I mean, you can do anything to that bike. They had fantastic brakes from box stock. So guys, if you're looking for a bike that you want to especially put on a trail or an enduro type sequence, you might want to check out this 07, 08, 09 KTM 300. It's a fantastic two-stroke, and it really does last a very long time, all on your maintenance, right? So if you're not keeping up on your maintenance, it's going to trash even the newest, nicest bike. So with that, guys, that is our top 5. It really took me a long time to go through all the years. There's a lot of great bikes, a lot of honorable mentions I could put in this list. There's also obviously a ton of two-strokes I did not put in this that were all great. The early 2000 KX250s, late 2000 KX250s. I have an 05 or an 06 KX250 behind me right now. And they're so reliable. They're so good. The thing is that when it comes down to it, part availability. We are slowly phasing out of part availability for these Kawasaki and RM two-strokes. We still have a little bit from Honda, and we got a ton from Yamaha. So keep that in mind too, guys, when you're building your bike. You want to make sure that you can get the parts for it that you need without going and buying used parts off of eBay, which I've done before, and that sucks because it's never a guarantee that you're going to do it right or the way that will last a long time. So guys, with that being said, yeah, the other ones, honorable mentions, is the early RM250s, the 97, 98, 99 RM250s were fantastic bikes, but they had one Achilles heel, which was their water pump seal they put in the middle of the cases. So every time you lost a water pump, you had to literally split the cases just to do a water pump. It's kind of ridiculous. A lot of great four-strokes we missed out, but we're saving those for the next one, guys, when we talk about the top 10 worst four-strokes. And then we're also going to have the top 10 worst dirt bikes just in general. And there is a lot of those four-strokes on that video, guys. So keep your eyes open for that. If you guys have noticed, down below, next to the subscribe, which I hope you already did, and the like button, there is a new button that the YouTube gods have blessed us with. It's called a Super Thanks. Guys, it's basically a digital tip jar to give to your creators to say, hey, thanks, I enjoyed your little video tonight. That's worth $1 or $2. Guys, if you want to send a super thanks, I appreciate you guys so much. And you guys already know I love you so much. I tell you every single video. But guys, that's my top 5, empowering you with what you need to know. Guys, stick around for the next videos or mosey around. Check out this video over here and let me know what you think about dirt bikes and what your experiences has been down below with your personal dirt bike. All right, peace out.